Okay, let's see. We got everybody here? No, we've got 4 or 5 people. Well, it's a start. Okay, so we've got 1398. Let's just come in, and apparently it's all dusty and upset and gives strange readings. High CPU load. All sorts of things. But hopefully we can find out what's wrong. Hey, John, Barry. Oh man, we've already done a iPad tonight. That was fun for the night. Okay, let's take the drive out, put it somewhere safe. So I don't have to have a panic later on, like, oh my gosh, what have I done with the drive? Where have I put it? I'm a dead man. Yeah, those sort of thought processes. Tonto, Lars, Arnold, Andrew. Alright, where's my test disk? Let's see if we can find out what's happening. It could be a bad battery as well. That does tend to affect these. Let's have a look at what that board is. Oh geez, a 426. I don't normally get these. Eight 20000426. Jim, Birkin, Andre, Stuart, Warren, Pierre, Travis, Ainsley. Just going to plug this battery back in for the sake of the test. Hang on. Jim Allen. Unfortunately, being a 426, I'm not going to be able to run the MRI or any of the ASDs. I don't have any of those options. So we're just going to have to go about it the normal way. Can we delete BIOS EFI password? Yes, you can, but I'm not going to. I mean, technically yes. Will I? No. At least not at this point. Hey, Truth Reporter. I don't seem to recall your name popping up here before. Welcome. Unless you went by another name. Yeah, this is slowing down. Should have booted already. So something's definitely making it run a bit sluggish. T2 chip. Oh, well, no, I can't help you with that. No, try Apple. And welcome back, Jim Hook. Welcome back. Yep, bands are going bonkers. We could actually have a couple of things here. We have in the past had where the heat pipes get damaged on these. There we go. Oh, CMI. Oh. How's it going, Harold? Harold, I kind of butchered your new chipmunk, by the way. I'm sorry. I'm experimenting with something. Where did I put it? Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, I'm sorry, Harold. I butchered it. I put a banana socket on there so I could plug it in, which lets me swivel the circuit board. I'm sure there are better sockets available for that, but it's just that with the vertical holes, I would get my cables would twist too much, so I went with the horizontal banana plug. Made things a bit easier for myself. So yeah, you'll have to forgive me on that. Alright, let's see. We've got heat pipe temperatures and GPU procs. Okay, the GPU one should go away when we run Valley. But yeah, we're running at 6,000 RPM, so there's definitely a sensor problem. Oh, good to see Harold forgives me. I'm glad. And Warren's right on top. Let's have some customer support in the channel. Hey, Sodderbridge. Yeah, that's a normal 4mm socket. Yep. So I can just plug my multimeter ground probe straight into that. I only had 2 design options to pick from. I would have liked a PCB mounted one, but I couldn't find one in my limited search. Hey Michael. The reason why I'm running the Valley, even though it's killing the machine, is I want to see if the GPU sensor, temperature sensors start reading proper values. Warren, I will tell you right now that freight all over the place is just completely butchered at the moment. I'm waiting on a whole bunch of things. I did not receive a single postal package this week, and I've got a lot of jobs waiting, coming in. I don't know what's going on. And it's not just me. There are PCB mounted sockets. Yeah, I thought there would be. I just couldn't find any that could work with the setup that you've got here, because I didn't want to start drilling holes or anything like that. So anyway, these lugs kind of worked in the end. Hey Mohammed, Andre, package. Ooh, okay. Okay, so the GPU die temperature is staying at 128, which is very interesting. Alright. Definitely probably got a sensor read issue. So we'll shut down, we'll take the board out, and we'll have a look at what damage is going on here. Redo USB install, or at least run Onyx to flush out junk. I don't need to do that. The slowness is simply because of the sensor issues here. So we could either have a bad SMC, which is going to be a real pain actually with this board, because it is a 426 and I don't know if I've got a spare. So let's get it out, let's see what we're dealing with, and let us pray that it is not the SMC. Especially since Sodderbridge is around here. That obnoxious little rat. It has not been a very good week in general. The only good thing that came out of this week is the fact that Micro who's recovered very nicely from his dental surgery. But everything else has been a little bit oh, okay, no, the toilet installation went alright. I'm the one that did it, so I was pretty worried it was going to be an absolute wreck and that I'd end up with unpleasant matter all over the floor, but fortunately it's all good. But in terms of MacBook repairs and things like that, it's been a bad one. What have I done with my tweezers? I seem to have misplaced also my favourite tweezers. These work, in a pinch, but they aren't quite, they don't have that durability that the other ones have. So that's some crazy things people do to their toilets. Absolutely burned through a whole lot of cash this week too, and and I just paid my tax tonight. That was scary. It was 2/4 worth of tax, and the reason why tax is a little bit scary for me in my situation, it's not really as bad, but damn it, I'm just looking. I can't use these fine point tweezers, or I'll bend the living daylights out of them. But with the tax structure system that we have as a sole trader, every 3 months you report, well, at least for me with my income level, you report how much you earned, how much you spent, expenses, and then you pay the goods and service tax difference between those two. And that's usually not a huge amount for me, especially too that I get a lot of, foreign purchases, so there's no goods and service tax on those. But as a sole trader, what they do is that they track your previous year's income, and then they up it by about 10 or 15%, and then they make you pay your income tax quarter at a time in preparation for your actual final end of year. So say if last year you had to pay 20,000 income tax, then they will make you pay roughly 5,000 a quarter to make sure that you're keeping up with what you're going to have to pay. And it's a good policy because it can vary. A year can go by so quickly, and before you know it, you've got $20,000-$50,000 worth of tax to pay, and chances are you likely have squandered it on other things that were more pressing at the time. And so you get to your end of financial year income tax return, and you're like, crap, I've got no money to pay my tax. Then you've got to go and do a whole lot of negotiating, set up a payment plan, things like that. So anyway, so it's called pay-as-you or pay-as-you-go, and it's a good policy, but it does still hurt, when you drop something close to $7,000 or $8,000 a quarter on it, and you sort of always feels painful with the big lump. Hey, Eddie Painter. And I've been holding out, hoping that PayPal, well, not PayPal, I was holding out, holding out that the exchange rate would swing in my favour, but it certainly hasn't in the last 4 or 5 months. So I feel like I've lost a fair bit of money as well because of the exchange rate. But that's the way it goes. The ups and downs. On the upside, I will pay less income tax on that. Overall, I end up paying around about, at the end of the year, about 25 to 27% income tax. Whoops. Very dusty. SMC area thankfully does look okay, but yeah, we've got a fair bit of dust around here. Alright, let's put this aside, have a look. Lars, is that like overall end of year sort of thing, or is that just because like I pay, I think it's about 35% tax on anything above a certain amount, but overall, if I look at how much of my income after expenses goes to the government, then it's around about 20-25%, depending on the year and whatever. Because I know it's popular around here for people to say, I pay 47 cents in the dollar on tax, and it's like, well, you don't really. You pay that much on every dollar you earn above a certain amount. I think it's about $100,000 now. Not 100,000, more like 200,000 now. But you don't pay that much on any income below that amount. But it's a nice sort of sympathetic pitch that people throw out there. So like, oh no, I pay 47 cents in the dollar, and it's like, you don't really. Yeah. GPU sensifier. Might help if I just brushed all this crud off, to be honest. Yeah, your effective tax rate is what. You got to remember though that here in Australia we do have pretty good social welfare and health benefits. So we don't really pay what you guys do in terms of health insurance or anything like that. Like I can go to the hospital and not pay a cent pretty much and get perfectly good care. Ni hao, Victor Yang. Wow, how does this thing even have a display going? Check that corrosion on the display. And we've got corrosion there. That there could be, mind you, it's probably audio socket related. Interestingly, it seems like the top side is the one that's been affected more here. Yeah, it's a bit of dregs. May have to replace the VRMs on this, just out of sort of precaution. This could actually be a daughterboard issue. And Mary Claire. Oh, that was my knee just went pop. It's going to bring up the board view and schematic and see where the GPU temperature sensors are coming from. .426 goes to a 163, so it's not a perfect match. Thermal sensors, 48. 4, 8, go. GPU, proximity, die, okay, E5850. That doesn't overly look like a match. Oh yeah, it does. No, I'm being dumb. So it could still be SMC because, you know, this is talking on the bus. Let's see if what else is. I don't know if this schematic has. Let's see, camera sensor has it. Okay. So if the camera is stuffed up, that can cause fun. What else is on this bus? So FinStack, EDP. Okay, this is interesting. See how I've got the EDP connector here? I wonder if the corrosion that we saw on those pins are actually the SMC pins. Those there. Now the only trouble is this the same? Oh yeah, this is it. Okay, so it's 3rd, 4th and 5th. LCD FFS. There we go. I think that might be it. SMC OSO. I2CT's turn on. Doesn't go to those. Well, there's only, let's see, what have we got here? We've got backlight, so that won't be that. But these two here. So these two here are involved. And there's nothing else that's related. So let's see if we can just follow these back. Yep, there we go. There, see? So these two lines connect to the SMC. So I'd say that's probably our fault. That there is why we're getting bizarre temperature readings on our GPU. Now that is not something that I would normally pick. So that's a new and interesting failure for me. Catch you later, Harold. Appreciate you putting the orders out. Oh, hello. Alex Kim, thank you very much for the contribution. 25 Australian dollars. Nicely bypassing YouTube there. Much appreciated. Smart thinking, actually. Actually, I really got to work on a way to get that into the system, but I just spent today's programming efforts on redoing my, what do you call it, my stickers for my tracking of the jobs. So I don't know if you can see, but one of the problems I was having is that with my diminishing eyesight, hey Sabatino, it was you, Copaz? What? Anyway, thanks, Copaz. Yeah, diminishing eyesight was making it harder for me to catch the number just when I was walking past the shelves. I also changed the barcode, the QR code, so it didn't have any additional information. I also changed the way it represents the user's information, so it's not explicitly identifiable. So yeah, just trying to reduce the amount of information in these stickers, but still keep it so that it's useful to me. Alright, now I've got the predicament. Do I try and repair this in situ? Or do I take out or take off the heatsink and everything like that? Well, certainly we'll get rid of all three of those to start with. I was thinking of putting my email on there, just so that I try and decide how I want to do that. Because I also don't, I usually miss out on enough room already for the information I do want to put on there. Yeah. I'm having to hot air the damn thing off. Maybe I just need a bigger blob. Nope, the micro pencil just doesn't have that sort of punch. Well, I'm already getting close to the maximum number of characters I can have in my barcode. I'm cheating by using some assistive heat. Just remember also we do have that other area that we saw with a bit of corrosion. Oh wow, I love it when, damn. I'm also being sarcastic, but I really don't like it when flux does this. It just, forms this hard cake. It's the flux from the solder. Andre, if you go to the extra large ones, yes. Yeah, you can jump up to quite a massive size of QR code. But I don't want to make the one that I've got any larger in terms of its current dimensions. I'm already sort of pushing the limit on the printer. It's crazy how that flux does that. It might have actually been influenced by whatever junk was on the board to start with. It's not even sticky flux, it's rock hard flux. Alright, so we need replacement parts for that. And I think I might just have some straight off the spool. Man, 12 picofarad. 201. Travis, very unlikely I'd stream in the morning, sorry. Okay, so we've got 12 picofarad, 12 picofarad. Yeah, 25 volt by the way, that's an important factor here. And 2K for that one. Picofarad. Or 2 caps. Pretty sure I'm hiding my 201s in there. The far left resistor. Are you talking about this one here? It's fine, it just looks a little glossy. And the far right one is also fine, it just looks a little glossy. They're okay. Probably don't have picofarad caps. Very rare for me. About the only picofarad caps I have are usually the ones that are associated with crystals. So they will have to be donor board sourced. Yeah. That's okay. So what do we want? We want 2K for the resistor. And it's a 201. 2K 201. 2K2, that is not acceptable. You're gonna make me donor board you, aren't you? I should stick 5 10k resistors on top of each other. It's going to be very unfunny if I get through all this and I realise I did not order 2K. I got 20K, which makes me think I should have 2K. Right, fast becoming an unfunny thing. So you got 2K2, again, not acceptable. Don't know why I wouldn't have 2K. I got 20K, which means I was definitely taking that series. Damn, after all that, I'm still gonna have to go suck up some donors. That's disappointing. I could put a couple of 1Ks in series. That's not going to happen. Well, that was all for naught. Sometimes I just like to have fresher parts than what I'm going to get off the donors. Triple 3-2. Three 662, 3662, 3662. What the hell? Why have I got 3662s everywhere? No. 3760. No. They're very different design on the. I've got a 163 around here somewhere, but I think I've already stripped it. Holy dooly, I got a 426. I was not expecting that. That's probably an accidental purchase, which is why I wasn't expecting it. But I can guarantee you this has probably got parts stripped already. Oh, lo and behold, lucky us, eh? We've got the 3 parts that we need are still there. Wow, that's quite something. Well, that's just something indeed. Chris, thank you. How's the renovations? Thank you for the 100 sick. The renovations are going to have to take a hold for the moment. We've kind of burned through our budget just re-establishing things, and then we spent about 11,000. Well, we haven't yet spent it, but I've kind of put myself in a bit of a situation here. we have the back patio being enclosed, and so we need to reserve that money. And then of course, as I was talking earlier, I've got taxes that I just paid. Fire truck. Well, must say, folks, that's not quite working out. Oh, I had them apart. No, that's some really shonky work. My goodness, I might get my Dodgy Brothers certificate back now. But yeah, we've got a new toilet in, we've got the back patio being enclosed. That's so that we can house the wildling cats safely. We were planning on creating a glorious shed for them. Unfortunately, the glorious shed we were quoted in the region of $30,000 to $40,000 for. And you know, I'd have no problem spending that sort of money on them, except you know, I just can't quite reach that level at this point. So we figured the 11,000 or 12,000, what it was going to work out to be, for the back patio enclosure will act as a decent compromise, and it also adds value to the house itself. I know this is really disgusting looking right now, but it will clean up once I've... Well, that's just not bonding down. Need some more flux. Normally I don't have trouble shifting 2 or 3 parts at once, but this time I clearly did. Alright, they're a little wonky, but they are correctly on board. Ooh, get my own episode on a current affair. I'll have, what is it, Tracy Grimshaw? She'll come round and knock on my door of an attitude and accusations. And then I'll have to slam the door and say, I'm sorry, we're not taking questions today. No, we didn't rip off those people. No, I didn't do a shonky double cat pull. It's all lies. Go away. Okay, where was that other corrosion? It was bad of me not to mark it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, just got to find out what that part is. So that's a, looks like audio codec, is it? Yep. It's just a bit of a decoupling cap, but it certainly will need to be replaced. Oh, starring Big Kev, oh my goodness. Is he actually still around? Big Kev was a big thing, and now he's. Well, I don't ever hear it. But then again, I don't watch free-to-air TV anymore. For me, it's Netflix, Disney, and YouTube. I even dropped Stan recently because there just wasn't any value in continuing with Stan. They want like $14 a month, and they don't offer me any movies that I want to watch. And they don't have, well, they didn't have season 15 of Supernatural, so it was like, well, you serve no purpose to me, Stan. Chris, again, thank you. Been a sub 4 or 5 years. Wow, really? It's sad in the way, the fact that I've actually been doing it for that long and I'm still at 30,000. Not even 30,000, but we'll get there soon. I think I need to be more dramatic and have better quality videos. Because, yeah, we all enjoy the live streams, we all enjoy the interaction, but we also know that it's not content that people will search and watch for, if you know what I mean. Live stream has got a very short shelf life, is what I'm trying to say. Anytime I do a video that's informative with, like, I think the most popular video I have is how to clean the ear mesh on your phones. That thing constantly outperforms all my other videos. And all it is about a minute and a half of me just telling people to use a slightly wet Q-tip, earbud, whatever you want to call them, with rubbing alcohol is probably pretty good. And yeah, to get your sound back on your phone through your earpiece. And that 1.5 minute video gives me more money than pretty much. Ow! Sorry, not paying attention there. Apparently things get hot. Evergreen. Hey Nikita. Evergreen what? Hey, Cam's here. Hello, Cam. Welcome. Toothbrush with ISO and then a Q-tip. Hi from my man. You're stealing my business, bro. I sent a couple more people your way today. What was it? I try to get people to actually go to Apple for a lot of stuff. But I'm trying to think what it was. Oh yeah, Samsung S20. I am getting so many Samsung S20 or S21 requests for screen jobs. And I'm like, hell no, I'm not touching that. I'm going to send that to the insane people. And so I send it to you guys. Hey, Jim Allen, you're in for a 10 on the spot. Oh, cool. Thank you, Jim. Right, Nikita. Yeah, I need to make more of those videos, but it's not the sort of thing you can really, how to say, plan to make sometimes. I know you certainly see a lot of people who make all these sorts of weird, silly videos like 10 tips on this or how to do this with your lighter and make your life easier and things like that. And I know what they're trying to do, you're right. They're trying to make those sort of videos. But I don't know how many of them succeed. Fingers crossed that this is all that it was. And that we can deny Solderbridge the sadistic pleasures of an SMC rebuild. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like an SMC reball as much as anyone else, but I'm happy also to take a job that can be fixed simply by a bit of thinking and a small bit of corrosion, as it was tonight. Like I said, on first glance, you didn't realise that they were explicitly connected to the SMC. But they were lucky. We did the boot, we checked to see what temperatures were going crazy. Just happened to line up with what we discovered on the corrosion. I'll be honest, that doesn't happen very often. You do a lot of Samsungs. Oh, right, cool. I don't know how you guys do them. Those things, I used to do Samsungs, and yeah, they drove me mad after a while. To be fair, I mean, I am seriously outdated on it. The last Samsungs that I enjoyed doing were the S4s, before they decided to just flip side everything and make it painfully hard to do the screens on them. I mean, the S3 and S4, they were lovely. A little expensive, but at least it was a case of, just drop in and go. Damaris, thank you for the 1,000 Why do I always forget what your RS is? Maybe I should connect it like that? No, not a good idea. Wouldn't fit anyway. Only slackers. Well, call me a slacker. Like I said, I don't mind doing an SMC reball, but I'm more than happy to not have to do one as well. Things have drastically changed since the S4. Well, really, the problem that I had was with the S5, S6 and things like that was the pain of having to get access to the board, meaning you had to take the glass off the front. Everything was through the screen glass, and I was like, stuff that. Hey, Tony W. So glass backs are annoying, and so the new Samsung A series gluing the antenna under the back. Right, yeah. I'll leave that to the professionals, and I'll stick to this ancient old jalopy style MacBooks where I feel comfortable. Okay, let's plug our battery back in, otherwise it is going to influence performance. I did have someone asking me to order a battery for their, I think it was an LG V20, and in the end I finally got them to realize they can just get it off eBay themselves, and if they wanted it faster they can get it from a Queensland supplier for only about, I don't know, $20 extra. So yeah, finally, after a bit of discussion, we worked out what they could do, and they're off and happy now. That definitely booted much quicker. Yeah, they did mention that they were local. Okay, so our GPU die now is, let's see, the heat pipe temperatures and all that, they're all good. The GPU die is showing 129, but I think that should go away once we run the Valley program. The reason being is that for some reason, until the GPU becomes active, it doesn't start reading a sensible temperature. I don't know why. It's At least that's what I've found in the past. I could be wrong. Alright, yeah, so before, you can't really see this, but before the temperature was 128 and now it's 60, which is proper. The GPU 2 die is still 129, but I'm guessing... Alright, this blah blah blah. The first GPU die is now proper, so this GPU 2 must be just something else that isn't even populated or used. And more importantly, our fans are only running at 2100 RPM, so that's far more normal. So it looks like we fixed the fault. Yeah, Oscar. Hey, Oscar. I don't see you around much anymore. I guess you're busy, but thank you for dropping in. Okay, the SD card works. Potatoes. Any advice for starting this as a hobby, maybe future job? Anything else? Unfortunately, potatoes, you will be looking at putting down at least about $1,000 to get started. You might be able to get cheaper at 800, but realistically, I would say you'd be looking at 1,000 for a decent microscope, soldering iron, a hot air station. It seems expensive, but in terms of industries, that's pretty damn cheap overall for getting involved in this business. I think you'll find the harder thing is getting up to experience and getting source of parts, and also finding room in the market. There is a lot of other people in this space, and I hate to tell you, but you will suffer an addiction. If you just ask Pedro about it, he will tell you it starts out as a hobby. You get the thrill of fixing one or two, and then it becomes an addiction, and then to feed that addiction you're becoming a business, and so on and so forth. Hi Mohammed, welcome. Alright, so that is now fixied. That audio cap that we replaced, it wasn't yet in play, but it would have only been a matter of time before it played up. This board will definitely go through an ultrasonic, even though I could probably have gotten away with just cleaning it up with a bit of Q-tips and stuff like that. This one will need to go into the ultrasonic simply because it is dusty overall. And then the fun thing happens, which is I have to test it afterwards. And believe me, I do have some anxieties about that. The number of times that these older machines now, you fix them up, they all seem to pass their preliminary tests. You put them through the ultrasonic and they come out and they go beep, 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 and then you just throw them out the door. Sometimes it's a spot of water under the PCH or the CPU, but most times it's just a case of the board finally has given up, typically on the CPU or the PCH, and no amount of drying or redoing the ultrasonic will fix it. It's just like, sorry, that's it, it's had its, you've broken it, and that's the end of it, even though you fixed the original fault. Now some might say it's the ultrasonic at fault, and to a degree it kind of is, but it's more a case of the ultrasonic basically turned a weakness into an actual fault, but it was going to be coming down the line anyway. Do you have a recommended flute for the job? I don't have a recommendation on portable meters too much. The biggest problem I have with the flukes is that you basically don't get any of them with data connectivity that at a reasonable price, or without some insanely large dongle on the back of them. So now that I've converted over to desktop meters, I much prefer desktop meters. It's just easier to have a desktop meter in my opinion. Other people prefer portable ones, but for me, desktop, because you never run out of power. They're usually pretty high quality. Usually, my previous one wasn't. That said, the Vicky VC8145, I gotta say, for the money, it is actually a pretty good meter in terms of it's very fast on the continuity. It's loud. It does a pretty good job of the diode mode. The downside is that it, unless you're controlling it through the PC, its auto ranging on the volts is very annoying because it beeps every time it shifts range, and that beep is very loud. This one, the biggest gripe I have about it is that, well, there's two gripes. The beeper is obscenely weak. It's like I can barely hear it, so I do need to find a way of making it much louder. The second one is that when you access it remotely, it locks the front panel, and that is a pain in the butt. Hey Catherine, welcome. But overall, I'm very happy with the GDM 8341. It's good enough, and I can tolerate the limitations it has, so long as it keeps behaving. Let's see, I just realised I've got to take all these accessories off. General question, who's a good phone battery supplier in Australia? I use EasyFix, but I think it's a case of any of the not only on eBay type shops. There's also mobile, there's a few in Australia. I'm sorry, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. It's getting a little late for me. It's midnight. Now I know people will say, but Paul, you always stay up till late. I don't lately, funnily enough. I'm getting up at reasonable hours in the morning, like 8, which means I've got to go to bed at reasonable hours. Okay, just get this heatsink off. Oh, sweet mercy. See, this is what happens when you start getting tired. You do silly things like that. And while we didn't suffer any damage for it just then, it could so easily have been something. Hey Thomas Wilver, well, falling asleep, having finished the job. Very happy that I've got this one fixed. I'm very happy also that it was more than just a case of the fan needs cleaning or anything like that. Victor, little question. 1502 has a short circuit on PPVCC SO CPU. Is it a short circuit or is it just low ohms? Measure in ohms mode. It will probably be below 10 ohms. But it should be about 2 ohms or something like that, I think. Depends on the CPU you have. In diode mode, yeah, and continuity mode, it will say that it's a short, but it probably isn't. Because they usually run around about 1.5, 2 ohms, I think. If Pirnov's here, he'll know. But it depends on the CPU model. And the year. Did you say what year? You didn't say. On the other hand, if it does read something like 0.8 or maybe 1.1 or something like that, then maybe you've got a situation. It could, and if that's the case, it could be a bad MOSFET that's shorting to ground. If you're lucky, it's your low side MOSFET, in which case the CPU should still be okay. If you're unlucky and it's the high side blowing through the low side, then it's probably a very bad day. In continuous mode, okay, so that's continuity. Yeah, switch it to ohms. I'll show you on this one. Let's see. No, maybe not this one. I'll get a board here somewhere. Nah. Alright, so let's take this. This is a 3437, so this will actually have a higher ohms reading, but hopefully it will give the effect. So we're in diode mode right now. So positive to the ground, and you see 0.04, so that's quite a low. If we go to continuity mode, it should beep. You mongrel, you're gonna make me a liar of me on this one. Alright, bad example. Let's find a 165. 165 might be it. I might be out of my league here. 21. What have we got? Oh, we've got a 4924 board. Okay. This will work. Okay, so I'm getting 13.4. Now, it depends on your meter. Some meters will beep at anything below 20 ohms. So this is a 4924, and I've got 13 ohms on this CPU. On diode mode, 0.013, so a lot of people would consider that a short. In resistance mode, you have 009. Is that 9 ohms or something other than 9 ohms? If it's 9 ohms, that's probably okay. Again, it depends on the CPU. Let me try this one again. This is... it's another 4924, but I don't know what CPU. In diode mode... diode mode CPUs always look like they're shorted. Alright, so this one here is 12 ohms in CPU mode. In resistance continuity mode. So it really depends on your meter configuration and your CPU. But yeah, if you have a low ohms mode or just a resistance mode there, try that. If it's anything above 3 ohms, or in this case it seems like anything above 7 or 8 ohms, it's probably okay. Hey, there's corrosion on the back of this board. Yeah, each meter beeps at different settings. Depends whatever the manufacturer decided to set that trigger value at. On some of the meters like this one, you can actually set that trigger value. Mine is set at 10 ohms. 10 or 20, I can't remember. All I know is it is programmable. Alright, that's prepped for tomorrow when we turn on the ultrasonic. Hopefully that pen will actually endure the ultrasonic. In a bad habit of not getting through it. 15, if you're in 15 ohms in resistance mode, that's fine. No troubles there. The CPU's okay. So whatever your fault is, it lies elsewhere. Ah. Damn it. That stuff just have to slide off then. Alright, I don't think I've got much else to do for tonight. Catherine, yeah, the numbers you see me writing are just job numbers. And I put them on there because I have a terrible habit of losing track of things if I don't. Yeah, there's enough jobs coming in and out of here that if I don't mark things clearly when I have the opportunity, then I will lose track of everything. Hey, Crazy J. So in this case, 617, that is the job number. Which reminds me, I do have to now put notes in. What did we replace? C6201, C6201, partially corroded, replaced as precaution. A356, A350, C8350, C8356, R, A380, corroded, SMC I2C line, causing problems with sensor readings, high temperatures. Replaced. Submit. Get myself some toe tags. I actually have got something similar. They're not toe tags, but they're very similar sort of thing. They're little loop tags. And I do use them, but for the most part, for me, it's all the stickers that I use. Things like, yeah, this sort of stuff here. That's the way I keep track of most things, and then anything else I'll typically mark. If it's going in the ultrasonic, I'm trying that pen there. If it's not going in the ultrasonic, then I'll just put a Sharpie on it. And between all that, I managed to keep track of things. Alright, I think I'm out of here. Thank you very much for watching. I was glad we actually had a interesting one tonight, one that actually needed a little bit of checking and you know, with the schematic and board view, things like that. And I don't know what we'll be doing tomorrow. It's hard to say. I've got no postage here on Saturdays, so unfortunately we live in a bit of a backwater country town, and we don't get Saturday deliveries. But yeah, we'll see how we go. If I do think of something or I find something, I'll be on the stream. In the meantime, you take care. I'll catch you later. See yous.